Two people start life in the same city, same schools, same opportunities, same paycheck at 25. By 40, one of them owns 3 properties and works because they want to. The other is still waiting for their financial life to begin. Same starting line, completely different finish. I'm Investor Tice, and on this channel, the mission is simple: decode why some people build wealth from nothing while others stay stuck, and give young adults the exact mental frameworks to play the right game. If nobody taught you how money actually works, subscribe, because this channel was built for you. Now here's what's strange about those two people. The difference wasn't income. It wasn't education. It wasn't even luck. It was that one of them understood a game that nobody teaches in school. It's a game with rules that look invisible until the moment someone explains them. And once those rules click, the entire picture of money changes forever. This is that explanation. Meet Daniel. Daniel is 24. He just landed his first real job. Decent salary, nothing extravagant, but more money than he's ever seen on a regular basis. And like most people handed a real income for the first time, Daniel does what feels natural. He upgrades, new apartment, better neighborhood, a car payment that feels manageable, dinners out with friends 4 nights a week, new clothes because the job demands it, a gym membership, streaming subscriptions, a phone upgrade because the contract made it seem free. None of it feels reckless. All of it feels earned. Daniel is not irresponsible. He's not stupid. He's doing exactly what the culture around him told him to do: work hard, earn money, enjoy life. But here's the thing nobody told Daniel. Every dollar he spent upgrading his lifestyle was a soldier that could have been sent to work for him, and he sent them all home instead. Now, meet Marcus. Marcus starts the same year as Daniel. Same kind of job, same kind of salary. But Marcus grew up watching his father work 40 years and retire with almost nothing. That image never left him. So Marcus makes a quiet decision early. He doesn't deprive himself. He still goes out, still enjoys life. But before any of that, before the apartment upgrade, before the car, before any of it, Marcus sends a portion of every paycheck somewhere it can't easily come back from. Not a savings account he can dip into. Not cash under a mattress. He sends it into assets, index funds, a small emergency fund that he stops thinking of as money to spend. Later, when the timing is right, a modest property. To anyone watching from the outside, Marcus looks boring. He drives a used car for 4 years. He lives in a smaller apartment than his salary could technically afford. His weekends don't look impressive on social media. But something is happening underneath the surface that nobody can see yet. There's a concept in personal finance that rarely gets explained clearly enough. It's called the gap. Not the gap between rich and poor. Not the gap between different income levels. The gap between what someone earns and what they spend. This gap is the only number that actually determines whether wealth gets built. Not gross income. Not job title. Not the neighborhood someone grew up in. The gap. And here's what makes it so deceptive. The gap is invisible to most people because modern life is specifically designed to close it. Think about it. Every time income goes up, something is waiting to consume it. A better car becomes available. A nicer apartment opens up in a better part of town. Restaurants get slightly more expensive. Friends start suggesting trips. Subscriptions compound quietly in the background. Economists have a name for this: lifestyle inflation. The quiet, automatic expansion of expenses to match income growth. And the cruelest part? It feels completely natural while it's happening. Daniel never felt like he was making mistakes. Every individual decision seemed justified. The apartment made sense for the neighborhood he wanted to be in. The car was practical. The nights out were necessary for his social life. But the gap closed. And when the gap closes, wealth stops being possible, regardless of income. Marcus understood something different. He understood that the first job wasn't about funding a better lifestyle. It was about funding a second income. This is the mental shift that separates people who eventually feel financially free from people who stay financially anxious their entire lives, even as their salaries grow. Most people treat income as the source of wealth. Marcus treated income as the raw material for building a system that would eventually create more income on its own. The first year, Marcus invested what felt like an embarrassingly small amount. He wasn't putting away thousands. Some months it was a few $100s. But it went in automatically, before he had the chance to spend it. He didn't watch it obsessively. He barely thought about it. He just kept closing the gap and widening it wherever he could. Here's where the story gets interesting. 5 years pass. Daniel's income has grown. He's gotten raises. He's moved up in his company. By any external measure, he's doing well. But his expenses have grown in perfect step with his income. His apartment is bigger now. His car is newer. His credit card balance has a quiet, persistent weight to it that he tells himself he'll address next month. He's not struggling, but he's also not building. Every raise becomes absorbed before he can redirect it. Every bonus gets justified into something physical. The wealth he expected to have by 30 hasn't arrived. Not because he didn't earn enough, but because every dollar earned found a place to go before it could compound. Marcus, on the other hand, is watching something strange start to happen. The money he invested in year 1 is no longer just sitting there. It's grown. Not dramatically, not enough to quit anything. But it's producing small returns that get reinvested. And those returns are starting to produce their own small returns. Compounding has entered the picture. And compounding is not a financial trick. It's a mathematical force. Given time, it becomes one of the most powerful dynamics in the known universe. And it works whether the person watching it is asleep or awake, working or on vacation. Marcus didn't need to do anything spectacular. He just needed to start early and not interrupt it. There's a question that gets asked constantly in financial conversations. How much money does someone need to start building wealth? And the honest answer is almost always smaller than expected. The barrier to starting isn't the amount. It's the decision to treat building wealth as a priority instead of an afterthought. Most people plan to start investing after the car is paid off, after the lease is up, after the credit card is cleared, after the next raise comes in, after life settles down a little. But life never settles down. The car gets paid off and another expense appears. The raise arrives and the lifestyle adjusts to absorb it. The next version of the problem is always waiting just ahead. The truth Marcus understood early, and that Daniel is starting to discover painfully at 30, is that the right time to start is always now, with whatever exists now, even if the number feels too small to matter. A small amount invested consistently over 15 years beats a large amount invested inconsistently over 5. Not because of motivation or discipline, because of time, because compounding rewards, patience above almost everything else. Now, zoom out 10 more years. Daniel is 40. He's earned real money over his career, a strong salary, decent bonuses most years. By income metrics, he's in a solid percentile. But he has very little to show for it in assets. Some retirement savings he started late and contributed to inconsistently. A car, furniture, a lifestyle that requires his current income to maintain it. His wealth is not the money he earns. His wealth is actually quite fragile. If the income stopped tomorrow, a layoff, an illness, a company collapse, the entire structure of his life would begin to shake within months. That fragility is invisible when income is flowing. It only becomes visible when something interrupts the flow. Marcus is 42. His asset column looks different. The early investments he made in his mid-20s have had 15 years to compound. He owns a property. His portfolio, while not extraordinary, is large enough to generate meaningful passive returns each year. Marcus still works. He actually enjoys his work. But the feeling is different now. He works because he chooses to, not because missing a paycheck would cause a crisis. That's the quiet dividend of the gap. Not just money, freedom. The ability to say no, to take a risk on something new, to weather a financial storm without panic, to make decisions from a position of stability instead of desperation. That freedom is what wealth actually is. Not the car, not the apartment, not the number in the salary field. Here's the mental model worth carrying forward. Every dollar has a fork in the road the moment it arrives. One path leads to immediate consumption, something enjoyed now and gone. The other path leads to a future claim, a small stake in something that grows quietly while life continues. The dollars that take the second path don't disappear. They multiply. They hire other dollars. They build a second income that requires no extra hours of work. The dollars that take the first path are not wasted. Life is meant to be lived. But too many of them going the wrong direction for too many years creates a compound effect in reverse. A life that looks wealthy from the outside, but feels financially trapped from the inside. There's one final piece of the contrast between Daniel and Marcus that matters. Marcus didn't have special knowledge. He didn't have a mentor on speed dial. He didn't start with more money, more connections, or a better degree. He just started playing a different game earlier than almost everyone around him. Not the game of appearing successful. Not the game of earning as much as possible, as fast as possible. The quiet, slow, boring, deeply powerful game of widening the gap and consistently sending the difference somewhere it could grow. Anyone can start this game. It doesn't require a certain income level. And it doesn't require paying off every debt first. It doesn't require waiting for the perfect moment, the right market condition, or a financial windfall. It requires a decision, made as early as possible, repeated as consistently as possible. Daniel and Marcus started the same, but they were playing different games the entire time. One of them just didn't know it yet. The question worth sitting with, the one that matters far more than any investment strategy or savings percentage, is simple. Which game is actually being played right now? Because the answer to that question will shape everything that comes after it, not just the bank balance, the options, the freedom, the version of life that becomes available 20 years from now. Wealth built from nothing isn't magic. It's just the right game, played long enough to matter.